So starting off weekly highs and lows. Who wants to go first?
I can go. So high is probably we're close to winter break after just getting back from what's it called, Thanksgiving break. So that's nice. I've been kind of on top of my homework, but I really didn't do any work today, so not really for tonight. And I guess my low is that my ED results come out really soon, sometime like like tomorrow, the day after, or like early next week. So like that's been on my mind, and like yeah, that's just it's taking my brain power from everything. I can't focus at all.
Yeah, I'll go next. So probably a high is that, today, today is kind of free day. I kind of used it pretty effectively, got a lot of work done, head of the game for once this year. And yeah, probably on a similar note to Josh, probably one of the lows or the pending lows this week is probably, my early decision results come out really soon too. Um, and it's inevitable. I mean, there's really no point in like worrying about it now because you can't change your application, but it kind of gets inevitable, that flight or fright reaction you get sometimes. So yeah.
I can go. Good luck with your EDs, guys.
Thanks.
I my high probably was also today. It was nice. It felt like a Sunday with no homework, in my opinion, because I didn't do anything. I probably should have. But I was like doing other out of school things. A low, I'd say I don't think I did very well in my APUSH test. I don't think I studied enough. But it's okay. It's the first one I felt like not very good at. So I'll be okay.
It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my to my understanding, we don't have too many bad lows because I honestly don't get Josh and Aditya how that can be a low. But moving on from that, my high is I'm on winter break, but not really because finals are apparently after classes end. So you kind of still have to study for them even though you're not taking any classes. My low is that I don't have any lows, so I have nothing to really complain about.
Is that a bad thing necessarily? Shouldn't that be a high?
Yeah, you know what? My low of not having any lows has now moved into the highs. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, Jeremy. So just imagine yourself last year in December, right? Just like a week before you get the applications, where you
I was
literally like
not
not at all. You were
no
like,
because I was first of all I didn't know I knew when my ED results came about, but I was in bed when my friend texted me. He's like, "Yo, Hopkins ED results came out." I was like, "Oh, I thought it was like the next day." So I wasn't really. I had no idea at first. But no, it wasn't stressful because it's like you guys are done with at least most of your applications and you're really just like you're waiting. Like that's it. You're just waiting. So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. But that's all right though. I told Josh, I was like, why don't you just like put up a mental wall and be like, if I know it's gonna come out tomorrow, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna wait another week after tomorrow and then check. Because then you kind of distance yourself from, oh my gosh, this is going to decide my future. But who knows? Good luck.
Yeah.
Best of luck with that.
thank you.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
So, a couple of things. Um, Interviews going well. Definitely, we can get a little more done. I definitely can, especially now that I'm on break. Important news. Kind of got in touch with Pete Schramm and Carrie Miller. Those are the two people that Mr. Mills recommended. And those two meetings are going to be a bit different. Those two are like uh, more administrative meetings where they're kind of going to talk about businesses in general. So I'm going to open that up to you guys as well. If you would like to join in on those Zoom calls, they are going to be during the day. So if you have school, obviously, it's not a big deal. If you also just want to read, because I'm going to be taking notes too, you can also just look out for my notes. But those are going to be pretty instructive meetings on how the future like organizational stuff is going to be run. And on that similar vein, I kind of made a business plan for my other class. And I think it's really instructive because it made me really think about like where this is actually going to be and if it's actually viable. And the good news in that is I have argued in my 16-page business plan that it's a very open market and there's a lot of potential for us. So that's the good news. But if you want to take a look at that, be my guest, Josh. We should also set up like a recording date for the for a video explaining that business thing. But that's that. And then Mila, do you want to talk about your idea?
Yeah, sure. So last meeting we went over some of the interview things, and I think we talked about possibly having some sort of an event for the public to better understand like doctors' experiences with COVID-19 and like how COVID-19 is like affecting the population. So I got in touch with some of the people that I worked with for the website at AHN, the COVID website, because I, emailed some people for that too. So I got in touch, and there's like a group of doctors that would be willing to like host some sort of a webinar for like the public about their experiences like in the hospital and like how serious COVID really is, maybe go into like some vaccine things. And so like I think that would be potentially a good thing for us to do, like partnering with the hospital for that, and then like just getting like more, what is the word, credibility. And I think like what I'm thinking is have some sort of a Zoom meeting, some sort of a webinar or Zoom meeting with like questions at the end, and then we just need like publicity to get it out. So I haven't gone into detail really about like the plan for that, but yeah, that's the overall idea. Any thoughts on that?
That's great, Mila. And I'm really glad that we were able to secure that with the hospitals right now. And, one thing I wanted to add too, and this was something after, an idea that I got after, Miss Lawrence spoke. I spoke with Miss Lawrence. One of the things that she brought up and one of the concerns she had was, in her own community growing up, there's a lot of misconceptions about the medical system, about insurance, about Medicaid, about, drugs, about doctors, that lingers around in, underdeserved communities in every city. And, if there's maybe a way we could also, host a webinar, geared towards some of these communities, with these misconceptions to, in a way, educate them and, bring a better sense of awareness, in the community's mind that will help them seek out treatment.
Yeah, I really like that you brought that up, Aditya, because that's some of the things that that I also received in the interviews was that there are so many things that people don't understand about their own healthcare system. So like when you buy health insurance, you're entitled to all these rights, and most people don't even know those. So I really like that idea. And I was thinking if there's a way to incorporate that into the curriculum and make it sort of a course, because I feel like that is a big topic to kind of talk about. And we can definitely cover that too in the webinar, but I feel like I'm leaning towards just the COVID, like the super timely stuff in that.
Sure, yeah, and I think there's a lot of overlaps between what you said, too, right? Because there's still a lot of fear in the population that's going on about the vaccine. Even when they get sick with COVID, some of them just don't end up going to the hospital just because they fear, they fear their rights. So yeah, I think there's ways we could definitely weave that in a little bit, but I see what you're talking about, not to make that the main focus, but more on the lines of COVID.
Yeah, and I really like that idea, Mila. Some of the concerns that I kind of thought about was I think the biggest one is how do we get publicity and how do we get the conversion of if we did have some people advertise for us, how do we get them to actually like sign up? Like we need a sort of call to action
Yeah.
plus publicity to get it out there. With publicity, I think one of the fallbacks, like a super easy plan, is for us to do it like very old school style of just going out and literally telling people about it, and then hopefully word of mouth, that sort of thing. But that requires a really good call to action, which is just something that they can use to either sign up for or like they need to do something so that we know that they're interested, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that actually hosting an event is not going to be difficult. It's going to be getting people to come to it, you know? So that's like what we need to think about if we're going to do this right, if it's going to work.
Yeah. And some of the concern is we want to make sure we're also respecting like the professionals' time. I think that's also important.
And I really see, the sort of thing of us needing to be, gain credibility within the community. And an idea that I thought about, and I'm pretty sure Jeremy must have floated this back, some time ago, but is there a way, we could gain some sort of presence, through social media? And it doesn't mean like starting a Twitter account, but it means like really doing something with those accounts, like, really being interactive with it, really involving the community. I feel like, right now, as a way to build credibility, especially, during COVID and during the time when people are virtual, I think social media is a potential avenue that could benefit us.
Yeah, I also completely agree with you. That's the one thing I think on our team specifically, feel like we don't have that talent yet to like interact with the public that frequently. So maybe the solution to that is to have someone run social media, like a specific job for that. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I was just going to say that actually, since we have 2 more recruits needed on the board, maybe we could fill 1 or 2 of them with the social media component.
That's not going to be allowed, only because the board has voting rights, but something along those lines, like they can do it on the side, but they wouldn't be able to just fully manage that.
I think that adding a person for social media, even to management, is not a bad idea, because I feel like 5 people is not too much.
Jeremy, weren't we talking about this like a while ago, like a month ago?
We were, and then we rejected that one person. So we were, yeah. So it is good that we're bringing this back. I'm not sure. See, what also concerns me, Josh, is I'm not sure if we did that one right, because now that I think about it, I think it's really important that the social media, like, I think everybody on the team should be aligned with the goals, right? I think that should be a good starting off point. But I also feel like maybe they can be we can be a little more lenient with that. But I'm not sure though, because do we need to have like a very strictly aligned social media manager person, or can we have just literally anybody who's interested in helping out?
Yeah.
Maybe to answer that question directly, Jeremy, I think right now in our stage, I think it's going to be a little bit like, I know we need we obviously need somebody who has a good general gist of doing something publicly, whether that is, creating YouTube or, has some sort of a public presence or a website or something else they created. But I think that, at this stage, I kind of like what Milo was talking about earlier. I think we should sort of fuse that in with the management right now, just because I feel like that position alone at this time we are right now would, not be able to sort of tap into all the talents he or she may have.
Yeah, I completely agree. So Mila, were you saying like add another person to management, right? Is that the
So
same thing you're
it's-
talking about, Aditi? Go ahead.
I'm thinking either add like another whole person to management, or I mean, I think what Aditya was saying was maybe have one of us do it. But I think either would be okay. I was leaning more towards adding another person, because then also
Yeah.
you have more like perspectives
Mhm.
in this team in general. So
Yeah, I was also talking about adding another person. I was just saying, like,
Okay.
not making them like a standalone position, not tied to the management or the board, but I think they should sort of be fused in with the management side.
Oh.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Sorry.
Yeah, we
Whatever.
also, if you want to call this, because honestly, now that I thought about it, it's not like we're not really managing anything. So I think a better word is just coordinators. But to that point, I think that's the general, like we were going for that at the beginning as well. I think that's probably a good thing to have, like just another person on the team.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll mark that down and then I'll be on the lookout. And also for now though, Josh, do you want to take that and just like send out a couple things, like just send out, hey, we're looking for this on like our Instagram and our Facebook?
Yeah, sure. Do we have a lot of like, followers?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Probably
Not
not.
particularly.
Actually,
We
don't
have
know.
like 2 or 3 right now.
I don't have Instagram or like Twitter or anything, so I don't really know how to do stuff.
Okay,
So,
I can do
yeah.
the Instagram part and then the
Yeah, I can.
I'll see what happens, because I think last time what worked was doing it in our personal accounts.
Yeah.
I think that drew the most attention, but
Okay, I can do it on LinkedIn.
So
Wait, I don't think anyone checks.
there's this thing on the Instagram called like promotions. And if you like pay money, they like advertise your thing. I don't know, I just saw that.
yeah,
Do we
I was
want to do
looking into that. Although I don't think that is gonna be really useful to us yet, only because I don't think, highly doubt, the population on Instagram is the market that we're going for. So I think the best bet with just like the market that we're kind of going for is the more, I guess, educational side of the student base. So I think that is best marketed through like our personal Instagrams, like accounts, and then trying to transition anybody that we know of onto the Care for Them one, and then spreading that one. Yeah, but we'll see.
Yo, Jeremy, I wanted to ask, is there like, since you're at Hopkins and Hopkins is, definitely a mid to big size campus, is there like a way, and I know that you haven't like sort of immersed yourself, you haven't gotten the chance to immerse yourself fully in the campus environment, but is there like a way, you could reach out to, some people in your incoming class, it could literally be anyone, and preferably, of course, somebody who has a lot of experience, but just because I feel like the college crowd, and since you have a role in the college crowd, and since the college crowd is big and diverse at Johns Hopkins, I feel like that might be a way you could easily, or not easy, but that might be a way where you could sort of attract somebody who could potentially work for us as like a coordinator.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking that too. There are a couple limitations to that, because I think the personal thing that goes a long way into like it kind of teeters along the borderline of like biased opinion and just having someone on the team that you want because you know them personally. But that being said, that definitely is a good idea. I'll definitely look into that. The hardest part, I think, is Hopkins student orgs are they're closed for this year, as in they're you're not allowed to make your own for this year. So that is one of the bigger challenges, because just doing the student organization, making that, and then presenting it in the student org fair. That's gonna be the bulk of the advertising, because I feel like with just the people that I know so far in Hopkins, um, I don't think anybody would be interested, but we'll see. Yeah, but social media, I also don't think experience is necessary, because yeah, I feel like as long as you are aligned with the goals, I think you're on the right track.
Actually, Jeremy, I wanted to second you. I mean, sorry, not, but I wanted to sort of clarify on that opinion you said. I mean, I actually personally think that somebody with experience would be definitely beneficial, just because social media is definitely a very advanced and very nuanced, area to tackle. And I feel like, if somebody who, like I said, has a YouTube channel, creates a website, has some public presence like that, I feel like they would really be able to bring their own ideas into potentially ways how we could, not only do better in the social media aspect, but also, gain some credibility within the community. So, I mean, like, of course, they don't have to be like pros or anything, but I feel like somebody who has a little bit of experience in that area, could definitely be beneficial to us.
Completely agree with you. The only reason why I would kind of disagree with that outlook is only because, like, where we're at right now, because none of us have legit experience with the things that we're doing. So that's the only reason why I would not run it that way. But I completely hear you, and I think it would be very helpful to have that. But I think somewhat we probably can't do that, only because of what we've done in the past. Like, the precedent is there, as you only have to be aligned in with the mission, and then you're basically good enough. But I think that's a really important part, because if you have someone who only has experience but doesn't care about your mission, I don't think that's helpful at all. All right. Final thing kind of wanted to do today is a little bit of the bylaw drafting. And also, Aditya, we should talk about Form 990, because
Okay.
tax season is right around the corner pretty soon. So we should get that done, and like at least check it out. I was looking at it and it doesn't look too bad. So
Yeah, it's just an exempt form telling us that, we don't need to, like, we can be exempt from, the income
Mhm.
tax. So yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, we can definitely talk about filling that up soon.
Yep. All right. So right now we can we'll just, if you go to general, I think there is a Word document. Wait, is it general?
Here, I can wait.
Yeah, it is. It's in general.
Uh,
It's called CFT bylaws.
Okay, if you
Yeah.
can't find it, I sent it in the management chat.
Sweet, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emil, anytime you guys have to go, just you guys can peace out. Let me actually end the recording. All right, I need to do one. So just to recap the thing, so that I can cut it and post it as a separate thing. We talked about interviews and our up and coming interviews with Pete and Carrie, and those are going to be really important, because those are going to be talking about how this business is going to be run. Emila brought in the idea of hosting a webinar with COVID doctors, which is a really good idea. There are a couple of hurdles that we have to get through, though, mainly being, how do we get the publicity and how do we get those people to like sign up for it? And then Aditya brought up very good points on misunderstanding and misconception about the healthcare system. I think those ideas are really good for the curriculum. We should definitely look into that in the future. And then we all talked about how it would be beneficial to get a social media coordinator.